Do you keep things on or off the books when it comes to growing and supersizing your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Our idiom, our expression today is off the books and on the books both. I decided I would combine the two because they're relatively new idioms, relatively new expressions. They are mostly associated with accounting and keeping track of financial records and financial things for our businesses as well as for our lives. If something is off the books, it's used to describe a payment that is not officially recorded or documented or written down, usually to avoid paying taxes or to avoid some other type of fee or charge or probably legal punishment. If you are audited or for the IRS for tax purposes, you're supposed to document every transaction, every single transaction you have in your business and in your personal life, and keep a record of it nowadays. And it means something. If it's off the books, it's off the official payroll. Maybe you pay people by cash and they're undocumented, or they are not, they don't follow the official laws or rules of your area, your community, with respect to employment paperwork and tracking and things. Now, I'm going to say right out, if you are running a business of any sort, do everything on the books. I learned when I was young from my parents and from my dad especially that you got to keep a record of everything. Number one, so you know what you're doing. And number two, so that you are paying your fair share of taxes. Tax laws are written so that we don't pay any more than we have to, but we also pay what we're due. We pay what we owe. So on the books, off the books. A lot of small businesses, when they're just getting started, will just team up with people and they won't officially keep track of everybody's contribution and what everybody takes out of the business. And those are the type of situations when you get audited by the IRS or by some other organization. We had USDA audits, we had FDA audits, in a lot of the businesses I was in. We had AIB, we had certification organizations that would come in and audit our organization. In addition to financials, we had accounting firms that would come in and audit our books to make sure everyone in the organization was doing the right thing. We were having processes and procedures and systems that would guarantee that we could grow our business as well as sell that business someday. Worked for a lot of businesses and a lot of companies that ended up being sold or eaten up by other organizations in the same industry. Legally, it means if something is off the books, it means it's removed from an official record. So in the real estate industry, well, let's not use real estate. Let's use laws and ordinances in your community. If something is removed from, if an ordinance is removed or a law is removed, it's said to be off the books. That's how it works for legal terms. If it's on the books, it's a current, being enforced or enforceable law, regulation, expectation, etc. In theater, I thought this one was interesting. In theater, when you don't need a script anymore to rehearse, it's called off the books. I thought that was an interesting one, an interesting meaning of off the books. But normally, and my personal experience with off and on the books has been, are you recording it or are you not? If it's on the books, you're recording it. If it's off the books, you're not recording it. Why would you not want to record what you do? I document, record, and keep journals of everything I do in every area of my life. So I certainly am going to keep track of it with respect to the businesses and my business area of my life. The more complicated your personal situation gets, the more important it is that you do a really good job or hire somebody to do a really good job. I always hire out my accounting and my bookkeeping and my paperwork and things because it's very detail oriented, and as much as I know details are important, I personally am not the one to do those things for my businesses, for my organization, or even for my personal life anymore. Anything I can automate, I automate to make sure that we don't make mistakes, to make sure we're always doing the right thing. Why? Because I did a lot of audits, and I audited not only my own, but a lot of organizations throughout my corporate career, as well as my businesses after leaving corporate America, or during and after corporate America, and learned that if you keep records of things, and in a lot of situations, for example, USDA audits, IRS audits, if it's not documented, legal situations, partnerships, all of the record keeping for your corporations or businesses or whatever business structure that you've got, if it's not written down, It didn't happen. According to the courts, according to the laws, according to pretty much everybody, it becomes a he said, she said, or he said, she said, she said, he, she said, whatever type situation, and you never win in court. The person with the scrap of paper with the documentation on it in the other person's handwriting is the person that wins. It's got to be written down. It's got to be on the books, recorded, usually in pen, black or blue pen, and documented in some kind of permanent way. So I'd love to know your experience with off the books and on the books. I've got lots of experience with it. I remember when I was first starting out in my own businesses, my dad said, not only pay yourself first, but make sure you document it and keep track of it. And even if you don't cash your checks, make sure you've paid your taxes on them so that when you go to exit your business or sell your business, you can go ahead and take all of that off of the cost and you don't have to pay taxes on it then in the end because you already did it in the beginning. One of the best pieces of advice I got from my dad was make sure that you are documenting and keeping track of everything. All right, share in the comments below your experience with this particular idiom, either off the books or on the books. I personally have been paid off the books in different businesses, especially when I was starting out early on. When I first got started in business and learning how to do businesses, some entrepreneurs paid me off the books and paid me to teach and learn from them off the books. Did I pay taxes on it and declare the income? Yes, I did. Because there's nothing worse than an IRS. Well, yeah, there is. Sudden cardiac arrest is worse than an IRS audit, but it's not a very fun process, and it drags out a lot longer than a sudden cardiac arrest does. So share in the comments below your experience with this idiom, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with one more idiom about books. Have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow.